I'm William Bendix. Thank you for inviting me to your home and for agreeing to listen to my story. Not all who hear this story will profit by it. Some men never learn. Now, for the purposes of this story, let's assume I'm talking to three people. Two of them are composites of real people. This man, and this gentleman. Oh, excuse me. The third man is you. All right, then. If you gentlemen are ready, let me begin by saying that this is a story of the future.
Science fiction, huh?
No, not science fiction. It's a true story. It's the story of your future.
Whatever it is, get on with it. I haven't got all night. There's a TV program I want to watch.
I'm sort of pressed for time, too, if you don't mind, mister. I got a lot of work I brought home from the office. Should have done it last week.
Certainly, gentlemen. We know your time is valuable. And the third gentleman? Never mind. We'll assume that your time is limited, too. And you gentlemen are right, of course. It's quite proper to be concerned about time. When do you suppose men first began to measure time? Some people think it was when man first learned that he was a temporal creature, when he realized he wasn't going to live forever. Time is one of our most precious possessions. And very often it's gone before we know it. Every mammal, bird, and insect on Earth prepares for the future. Storing supplies of food, building a secure nest, making sure its young will be provided for during the winter season. Every animal on Earth does this instinctively, with one exception. Man. Man is the one animal on Earth that is often unconcerned and reckless of his future. Man is the one animal that often cannot learn from experience.
Hey, wait a minute. This is a pitch for insurance, right? You're selling insurance, ain't you, Mac?
Oh, if that's the case, I have plenty of insurance.
I assume you all have enough insurance, or the company representative and I wouldn't be here at all. Now, shall I continue with the story?
Yeah, for Pete's sake, get on with the story. I think the ball game's on TV tonight.
No, that's tomorrow night, isn't it? Anyway, get to the heart of the story, mister, if you don't mind. I have all kinds of reports to write.
All right. Let's begin by setting the scene. It's America. A land of plenty. A land of opportunity. And also a land of poverty. Who are the poor? Where do they come from? Some, of course, have always been poor. Some of them at one time had adequate incomes. They became poor through unfortunate circumstances. But just ask any of them if they ever intended to be poor.
Are you nuts? Nobody intends to be poor.
Of course not. I made up my mind to be rich when I was a kid.
That's probably true of all of us. But not very many of us make it. In fact, if you take any 10 men at age 30, only one of them will be financially independent at age 65.
Come on, pal. I got a good income. My house is almost paid for. My family isn't going to be needy when I retire.
But consider what could happen to your income. You could be incapacitated for a long time because of illness or an accident. Or supposing your company went out of business. Or what if we're faced with another depression?
So if I lose my job, I'll get another.
Will you? You know what the employment possibilities are for a man of 40? Or 50? Or 60?
Yeah, but that don't concern me now. Look, I'm still young yet. My family's still young.
But you'll grow older. And your family will grow older.
Did you just come here to tell us all these depressing facts? Look, everybody knows he has to grow old. There haven't been any pills invented yet to prevent that.
Yes, everyone has to grow old. And there's no need to fear old age. What you ought to be afraid of is an impoverished old age.
Well, what's the answer then? Or do you have one?
Sure, I have one. The answer is simple. Save some of your money while you can. Save while you have the power to earn. Remember that 1 man in 10? That's how he did it. He did without a little today for a lot tomorrow.
Oh, well, if that's the solution, I'm okay. I do save.
Do you? Regularly?
Well, fairly regularly. I toss practically all my loose change in a candy jar, and I put money in the bank practically every payday.
Say, let's take a look at your last paycheck. Will you permit us to do that?
Now there, that's for my savings account, the part that's left.
Just a moment. I think there are a few late claimants here. Too late. Maybe you can wait and be first in line for next month.
Darn it, there's still a candy jar. Practically every night when I come home, I toss my loose change in that candy jar.
And you never spend any of that money?
Never.
Well?
Skip it.
Well, I don't fool around with candy jars or bank accounts. Now, I put my extra dough in the stock market.
That's all right if you can afford it. But the stock market isn't a guaranteed way to save. There are no guaranteed dividends. And the value of a stock isn't fixed either. As you probably know, reputable brokers advise you not to buy unless you can afford the risk. They suggest that you never buy stock unless you have enough life insurance, because catastrophic things can happen to the best stocks. Consider the situation in April 1962. But then came May 1962, Black Monday. Remember what happened to the stock market on that day?
Holy cow, isn't there any guaranteed way to save?
There sure is. The copyrighted capital growth program of the Midwestern National Life Insurance Company. Here's how it works. If you qualify, the company will agree to accept regular yearly deposits from you. Now, say you decide to begin at age 30 and deposit $500 a year in the capital growth program. And the interest on your deposit is guaranteed. Unlike bank interest, which is never guaranteed. Your deposits and interest just keep accumulating.
Sure, I mean, suppose I have to keep making these deposits for about 60 years.
Nope. 20 years. Never any more than that.
Yeah? And how much do you get when you're ready to stop working? Any more than you get from a bank?
A lot more. $18,433.17 in cash if you choose to stop working at the normal age, which is a profit of $8,433.17, or more than $900 for every $500 you put in. And if you like, you can receive an annual lifetime income of $1,389.12. An income greater than you would receive from $47,000 invested at 3% interest. And supposing you receive this annual income for 20 years, that would be a total of $27,782.40, or almost $1,400 for every $500 you put in. Mr. Third Man, how about you and our representative doing a little figuring with me? Let's figure the profit return on your $500 deposit. Well, my figures show you get back $1,400 for every $500 you deposit. That's almost triple your investment. Is that what you fellas came up with? Not bad at all, is it? And you might well receive this income for more than 20 years, in which case your profits would be even greater.
Supposing I lose my job or break a leg and can't make deposits for a while. Then I'm out of luck.
Not at all. The company has made provisions for situations like that, with a feature called the Cash Withdrawal Fund. Now, let's say you lose your job after you've completed 10 years of the program. Your cash withdrawal fund at that time would total $1,400.87. Enough to make your deposits for 2 years, almost 3 years. It wouldn't be considered a loan, and you'd never have to pay it back.
Well, but supposing I got sick and was laid up for a long time, maybe more than 3 years.
For situations like that, the company will arrange as an optional feature to complete your entire program for you after an illness of 6 months or more. And you'd never have to pay any of this money back either.
Now, wait a minute. You keep talking about depositing and saving money. Well, if I deposit $500 in a bank every year, and at the end of a few years I want to take out $1,000 to invest in a business or something, I know I can get it from my bank account.
You can get it from your capital growth program, too. That's another feature of the cash withdrawal fund. And if you never use any of your cash withdrawal fund, it just continues to accumulate with the rest of the money in your program. Of course, I assume you wouldn't withdraw any money unless you needed it for some important purpose.
Hey, supposing I died before the 20-year plan was completed. What happens then?
Then your family would receive all the money you had paid in, plus $11,492 of the company's money, plus all your cash withdrawal fund. Supposing you died after depositing $500 for 10 years, a total of $5,000. The 3 checks your family would receive would total $17,698, or more than 3 times the amount you had deposited. But let's take a look at another possibility. In the event that you and your wife die in a common disaster, the Child Care Fund goes into effect. The orphaned children would be given a double amount of the company's money. If this common disaster occurred 10 years after the beginning of your program, your children would receive $29,190, or almost 6 times the total amount you had deposited.
Hey, supposing after a few years a fellow would be making more money and he'd want to increase the size of his capital growth program. Could he do it?
Sure he could.
But supposing his health wasn't so good. Supposing this guy had developed ulcers or something.
Even if he'd had a heart attack, he could still do it. You see, this plan isn't for everyone, but once you meet the requirements, you're entitled to increase your deposits. No matter what the state of your health at that time. Just think of all the wealth in this country. And yet a lot of people face poverty in their old age because they didn't plan ahead. They didn't plan to grow old. It was just something that happened to them almost overnight. According to the American Conference on Economic Progress, there are 17 million people over 65 in this country, and a large percentage of them are unable to provide for themselves. There are 38 million people living in poverty in this country, and 39 million more living in deprivation. Just think of all the money you earn in a lifetime, even if you're just an average worker earning, let's say, only $5,000 per year. During your productive years, you would earn perhaps $250,000. Maybe you will earn $500,000 or even $750,000. Now, don't you think that much money ought to buy you a secure and comfortable old age? Well, it won't if you don't do something about it now. Ask this man how much money he earned during his working years. Ask him where all that money is now. Here's another way of looking at it. Think of all the money you've earned during the past 10 years of your life. $80,000, perhaps? Well, you should have saved 10% of that amount. Can you write a check for $8,000 at this moment? Or even $4,000? $1,000? Will you be able to write a check for even that much when you're an old man? What about it, sir? What's your answer?
Nah, I ain't ready to think about getting old just yet. Excuse me, I gotta get me another beer.
And you, sir? What's your decision?
Well, it's a good plan, I suppose. It's something I need, I know that, but, well, not just yet. One of these days, maybe.
One of these days, sir? How many days are there in a lifetime? And now you, sir, the third gentleman. Are you ready yet to think about tomorrow? The Capital Growth Program is a copyrighted plan of the Midwestern National Life Insurance Company, which is located in the Midwestern National Building, a landmark on the public square in Cleveland, Ohio. Sound too good to be true? Well, it isn't. As a matter of fact, Justin B. Larney, who is recognized as a pretty good man in this field, is ready to show you your capital growth program, a program tailor-made to your particular needs. Jim, the floor is all yours. Tell him how to lead the life of Raleigh.